Welcome Inside the Lines. I am Greg Sussman. This is Frank Stanfield. Tonight, the Knicks are in Phoenix to take on the Suns. The Knicks are a 7.5-point underdog according to the FanDuel Sportsbook. The total sits at 224. Frankie, the Knicks and Suns, they've both covered in each of their last 3 games. And the Knicks, they've been playing a lot better basketball as of late.
Yeah, especially under interim head coach Mike Miller. They are 6-6 straight up. They are 8-4 against the spread, and they really have improved across the board under Mike Miller as well. They are 15th in scoring, averaging 109.5 points per game, 18th in offensive rating, 16th in defensive rating, and the pace has gone up as well. They are 14th in pace. So you see all different ways that this team is actually playing better under Mike Miller.
Absolutely. The Knicks, they have looked good under Mike Miller, but the Suns, it hasn't been so great. They started off the season pretty hot, and then as the weather got a little bit colder, so did the Suns.
Yeah, they absolutely did, Greg. You know, in their last 27 games, they are just 12-15 against the spread after starting the season 7-0 ATS. So, as you mentioned, look, they're not playing as well as they were earlier on. They've had some injuries. Ricky Rubio, DeAndre Ayton recently coming back into the lineup. But again, over those last 27 games, they haven't been the same team that started off those first 7.
As you mentioned, DeAndre Ayton is back for the Suns, playing in like his 5th game this season. Reggie Bullock back for the Knicks. He returned, and he's separating and he's spreading out the floor, rather, hit a couple of threes in his return or his debut for the Knicks, and Bullock being back. It's good news for Julius Randle.
Yeah, Julius Randle has been phenomenal over his last 4 games, averaging 30 points per game on 53% shooting. You mentioned spacing the floor. 48.3% shooting from beyond the arc from Julius Randle, 10.5 rebounds per game. I mentioned all the improvements that the Knicks have made under Mike Miller. Specifically, Julius Randle has been one of those as well.
I mentioned the total before is at 224. This has been up and down all day. We saw it at 224.5, down to 224, up to 225. Now it sits at around 224, and that's because it depends if these teams are going to hit their free throws. The Knicks, they are 30th in the NBA on free throws allowed. The Suns, they're 29th, so there'll be a lot of free throws tonight. We'll see if these teams can make them. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the Pelicans and the Lakers, a revenge game for Anthony Davis, Lonzo Ball, and Brandon Ingram. It's a fun one out west. We'll break it down next.
They say less is more, but we believe more is more. That's why we built FanDuel Sportsbook with more ways to bet, more ways to fund your account, more ways to cash in, and more ways to cash out, with payouts delivered straight to your bank account in as little as 48 hours. You want more? You got it. Join today and get a risk-free bet worth up to $500. FanDuel Sportsbook. More ways to win.
Back inside the lines, Greg Sussman and Frank Stanfield here. The New Orleans Pelicans, they travel to L.A. tonight to take on the Lakers. They are a 10.5-point underdog, according to the FanDuel Sportsbook, with the total sitting at 225. Frankie, last time these two teams played, it was a really good one down in New Orleans with the Lakers coming away with a victory, but they did not cover. What will happen tonight?
I think that the Pelicans are in a good spot once again. You know, the history between these two teams, Anthony Davis traded Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram now for the New Orleans Pelicans. And the Pelicans are playing well. They're 5-1 straight up and ATS over their last 6 games with wins against the Denver Nuggets, the Indiana Pacers, and the Houston Rockets. During that span, Greg, the Pelicans are 3rd in defensive rating. They got off to a really slow start defensively, but have really tightened up recently.
You know, I look at this game, and I don't think there's going to be that many points scored. Both teams, they score about 112 times 2 gives you 224. That's under 225. And the Lakers, they have a top 5 defense in the NBA. I think they stymie New Orleans a little bit tonight. So I will take the under in this game, under 225. Let's move on to our Dalla Holla here. And for me, obviously, I got to go something in this Lakers-Pelicans game. And for me, it's the revenge game for Lonzo Ball. He triple-doubled in his last game. He's going to do it tonight in his return to the Staples Center. I like Lonzo Ball to triple-double plus 3,400.
Yeah, I mentioned that I like the Pelicans to win this game. I'm going to take Brandon Ingram to score 25-plus points and the Pelicans win. You were getting that at plus 880. They played the Lakers extremely close the first time that they played this game. Brandon Ingram's averaging 25.3 points per game. All the Pelicans have to do is win.
It will be a fun one between the Lakers and the Pelicans. We'll see if they can just do that. Win. Knicks and Phoenix coming up in a little bit. The Knicks are a 7.5-point underdog, with the total being at 224. For Frank Stanfield, I am Greg Sussman. Thanks so much for watching Inside the Lines. Enjoy the game.